Now let's come to the topics. Runtime for Linux. Now, by the time it's even printed on an exhibition wall, it has to be something serious. And I would like to talk with Daniel about the situation with Linux. You might remember a few minutes ago, we talked with Friedrich about MX systems. And Friedrich said, Daniel, MX is all available. We are just working now on little software designer tools to make life easier. Now, Linux was presented
2024,
2 years ago about now. Can we get a penguin up or thumbs down? So what is the actual status?
I would say we can give a thumb up, definitely.
Good answer.
Yeah,
So why is that?
Why is that? I think mainly because last year in October we had our first release. Before that we had our beta phase where already many customers joined. They started to evaluate TwinCAT for Linux, looked at the platform, looked at their projects, and now with the first release we also have first customers who use TwinCAT for Linux for their applications. Yeah, so we see the interest is rising, and I expect there will be more.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Now, this beta phase is always helpful because we have real customers using the first type of program actually, and we get valuable feedback. So you were able to take this feedback and put it also now into our final distribution?
Yes, absolutely. That was true for the beta phase, but it's still true as of now. So still customer use this platform, and we still get feedback what to improve, because keep in mind we have 30 plus years experience with Windows, and now we start with Linux. So there will be a gap, but we will give our best to reach the same level.
So first checkbox is taken, Linux is available. Now I need hardware for this.
Yeah,
every hardware need now a special distribution. So what hardware is available?
We can have a look over here, of course. So here we have a small overview of our different platforms, starting from the very small ARM-based embedded PCs, and then we go up to the more powerful PCs. Over here, like the embedded ones, in this case with the AMD CPU. Over here we have our smaller C60 series with the Intel Atom LCAT late generation, and over here one of our more powerful IPCs. And we support Linux on all the current and the coming platforms, like in this case we have the 11th generation Tiger Lake Intel Core CPU.
So that means I got the Linux distribution done, and I have already hardware, the latest hardware available for this. I love this because, as a PC guy, I love the scalability. I had always the option with the Windows operating system. I got the TwinCAT BSD, and now we add a next option with Linux. Perfect. But, I started with TwinCAT Runtime for real-time Linux.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I know it's cool to have a Linux distribution, but it would be even better if we also have TwinCAT based on Linux. So what is the status there? Because real-time operating system is much more than just an operating system.
Of course, yeah. So of course we have the TwinCAT runtime ported for Linux. It's mainly the main function we need for our PC-based control system to control motion, to do PLC logic. So we have ported our TwinCAT runtime for Linux. Actually, from customer point of view, it's still the same runtime with the same interfaces. So they still connect from a Windows PC with the TwinCAT engineering to a TwinCAT for Linux runtime system, and then they can activate their configuration as before. And besides the TwinCAT runtime, as you know, we also have our TwinCAT functions ranging from the basics like PLC, motion, connectivity, HMI. So the majority of those functions have also already been ported.
Okay. I think this is a tricky thing because we have so many functions. But I realized with the new ED terminals, we don't have 1,000 different ones, but we had the most important ones. That's always the starting point. Yeah. So you think there's a critical mass of functions already available that most customers can start?
Yeah, I think so. Like, as I said, PLC, motion, safety is also already supported. Yeah. HMI connectivity. Of course, as I said, we still have to get to the same level as on Windows, but we will, I'm quite sure.
Windows has 20, 30 years a head start, basically.
Right.
Now, I think finally it's important to put this now in an order. So we have Windows operating system, Windows 10, Windows 11, and upcoming Windows. We have the TwinCAT BSD. We have Linux. Does customers have to make a choice, or is this just an, let's say, addition to the product line?
Of course, sooner or later, customer has to make a choice. Yeah. But of course, he can go with Windows, BSD, or Linux. In my opinion, in the end, it's the application the customer has, because based on the application, he will choose the operating system. Of course, he can do control applications on all of the different platforms, but the benefit of having PC-based control system is to run additional applications next to your control system on the same IPC. And we see more and more customers who have Linux applications and they want to put it on the PC next to their control system. So now they have also the option to do that.
Yeah. I know it was a big job. It's not just even a real-time Linux distribution, but at the end, I would say we listen to the request of our customers. We use PC-based control of the platform, and we just add this option now, and the customer is in charge to go this way or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniel. Good
welcome.
luck on the trade show.